have a quorum here, so I will call to order the Monday, June 15th meeting of the Aransas County Navigation District Board of Commissioners. As always, we shall stand and say the pledge and to our flags. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you all.
I did. It took me 30 years.
Well, you know, it is so similar to the U.S. pledge, which is what makes it very confusing.
And not everybody does it. And
I know.
City
We used
council
to-
does it.
Really?
No.
Hmm.
Don't you know?
I know, you're right, a lot of them don't. Okay, we have now opening our meeting, and the first item is always citizens to be heard. Is there someone here who'd like to speak to something that is not on our agenda? No one, all right, very well. We'll move into the open meeting items. Item 1, approve the ACND minutes. Ms. Loney, we're not ready for those yet?
She has assured me, however, that at the first meeting in July, they will all be up to date.
Perfect.
At least that's what I thought I heard.
Well, we have 3 weeks between this meeting and the next. So, all right. Item 2, approve the ACND financial reports. Again, Ms. Loney?
I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Bob Rowe.
Okay, so all of you have a new set of financial.
Can you get up for you?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, yes. Are all the mics on? Please make sure your mic is on. Thank you. Is your mic on? Is it green light?
Not green, now it's green. Now it's
very
green.
good.
Okay, that gets my voice out over the internet, is that what it does?
Well, it picks you up on recording.
Oh, gotcha.
You're going
Okay.
viral, man.
Oh, I'm going viral?
Yes.
Thanks, Tommy. Okay. If you recall back several months ago when you first engaged me, one of the items on the list of deliverables was to revamp the reporting and make sure that the information that you're getting is up to date and accurate. So what you have this time is the first set of totally revamped reports. You should have 3 documents in your packet. The first is the balance sheet of the navigation district as of the end of May, compared to what it was May a year ago. So you can see the change that the district has had over that time.
This is labeled statement of net position.
That is labeled statement of net position, because technically that's what it is in your case. It is what we all call a balance sheet in general terms. So you have the statement of net position, and I'm not going to go through those numbers and let you ask questions if you have questions. But the second document that you have is called the statement of revenues and expenses. In this case, what you're doing is we have revenue and expenses for the month of May and for the 5 months of 2026 through the month of May. All right, so that you can see the progression of how you're going. The third document is a comparison of revenue and expense to budget. And in there are a whole lot of columns, and it's a bit cumbersome to read. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it a little easier to read. But what you have is you have the budget for the month of May, and you have the actual for the month of May, and a comparison of the budget to actual for the month of May. And then you have it for the 5 months then ended. All right, so those things, Vicki has done a lot of work to get us to this point, which we all appreciate. And what I'm going to tell you is that there are probably a few little things that have to be tweaked in those reports from our standpoint, but I would also encourage you to look at the reports, and if you see things that aren't the way you like them, please let us know, because we will get that all corrected. But at this point, I'm confident that we're on the right track and that we're providing you the information that you need that's not been processed by somebody, it's not somebody else's opinion, it's the information so that you can get whatever. Vicki, did I miss anything? Okay. Are there any questions?
No.
This is Vicki.
This is Vicky. Vicky, is everybody, Vicky, have you met everybody?
I do not believe I met Mr. Davion.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I don't come to the office. There's no need for me to do that. Y'all got your own work to do.
I'll stay away from it.
okay,
So you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Did I have a question.
yes, sir.
Did I say thank you?
I'm not sure, so why don't you say it again just to be sure?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
good job, y'all.
All right, folks, if there are any questions at any point on any of this information, or if there's something that you think that you want to see that we're not providing to you, please just let Vicky know or let me know, and we will accommodate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank
I want to make a comment. Your reports, or the reports that I see now, are way better than what I've seen before, and they're more understandable to me,
Right.
the way they are, so, in my opinion.
I agree. Too much better, but great improvement. Thank you both.
I
Thank you
echo that.
very much.
Thank you.
Do you have anyone have any other questions, comments?
Man.
Tell them how long it takes you to generate those reports.
Again, can I comment to that?
Sure.
I'll
Yes.
come back over here. Okay. There are
A couple of things. First of all, and because Caitlin Chupa is here from the audit firm, one of the comments that they always make is that, you know, you're not getting your bank reconciliations done on time. I just want everybody to know that today is the 15th of June, and all the bank reconciliations for May are done thanks to Vicky. Okay, so we know where it is. The time to generate these reports, once we get through the numbers, it's less than 15 minutes. They're set up as saved reports in QuickBooks, and we can print them out. And at this point, we could go back. I'm not going to tell you we can go back all the years that we have QuickBooks, but we can go back at least the last couple of years and give this to you monthly, because we've got it set up correctly.
But there's not much point to that, is there?
There's not much point to that,
But you can.
but we can.
We could.
We could if you wanted to. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Any other comments from any commissioners? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you both. We really, truly appreciate it. All of the hard work you put in. And Vicki, you've stepped up tremendously, and we really greatly appreciate that.
I'd like to add a little, I guess you could say footnote to it. Vicky put in motion something that will set us up going forward with the conversion of Prosperity to an American Bank. Some very important documentation with the county treasurer, and the job that's left to be done got much narrower by having done that. She touched base with the county treasurer and struck a friendship, I guess is the right way to say it. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 3, deliberate and possible action on accepting or approving of Aransas County Navigation District's financial audit report for the period ending December 31st, 2023, and we have a representative here from Adamson, I do believe.
I think all of y'all know Adam Miller is actually the auditor on this engagement, but he was unable to make it today, so y'all are stuck with me. Sorry about that. Okay, my name's Caitlin Chupi. I'm an audit partner at Adamson & Company, and I'm going to go through just a very high-level overview of the financial statements for 2023. Just next slide. Okay, so this is the agenda. We're going to do an overview of the financial statements, the auditor's reports, along with the opinions attached. A few financial highlights. I mean, we're a few years delayed, so I'm not sure how helpful they are at this point. Federal awards and any findings associated with those, and then required communications from us as your auditors. Next slide. Okay, so the overview of the financial statements, I think each of you got a copy of the actual financial statements, but the financial statements themselves are made up of our report, Then there's something called management's discussion and analysis, which I think is the most helpful for the users of the financial statements. It provides a narrative description of what happened during the year instead of just numbers. Then there's your basic financial statements, which are the statement of net position, statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position, statement of cash flows, and the notes to the basic financial statements, and then supplemental schedules that are required. Next slide, please. Okay, so here's the slide. This is what y'all care about the most. There are auditor's reports. We do issue 3 auditor's reports. The first is our auditor's report on your financial statements themselves. You did receive an unmodified or clean opinion, and what that means is that your financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position and results of operations of the district. The next report is a government auditing standards report, and this is a report that's issued over financial reporting and compliance. We did have 1 material weakness, 4 significant deficiencies, and 1 instance of non-compliance. I'll go over those later. And then we issue a report on the single audit, and this is required for any entity during 2023 that expended more than $750,000 in federal awards. That would be your FEMA program. Next slide. First, we're going to go over the statement of net position, or your balance sheet. Your total assets increased approximately $7 million from the prior year, and most of this is your capital assets increase. Your total liabilities increased approximately $111,000. You did have your outstanding debt decrease for regular scheduled payments, but your current liabilities increased, and those had to do with amounts owed to contractors for the FEMA capital projects. And overall, your net position increased $7 million. Next slide. This is the same information presented a different way, graphically, so you can see the blue line is your total assets and deferred outflows. You can see those increasing over the 4-year period. The purple line is your total net position, similarly increasing, and that red line at the bottom are your total liabilities. Next slide. This is a picture of your capital assets. So that blue line are your actual capital assets, and the red line is the accumulated depreciation of those capital assets over time. So you can see that increase into 2023 because of these capital projects being done. Next slide. The next is your statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. This is your income statement. Your operating revenues were $2.5 million. They remained pretty consistent over the prior year. Your operating expenses were $4.1 million. The increase is pretty consistent year over year. Your non-operating revenues, which is your property taxes, totaled $2 million. Capital grants and contributions, that was your largest source of income at $6.1 million. Those are your FEMA-funded infrastructure projects. And overall, your net position increased $7 million. Next slide. This is just your operating revenues and expenditures, which would exclude those FEMA or property taxes. It's just your operating, and you can see that your expenditures annually exceed those, but that's kind of made whole by those other revenue streams. Next slide. These are your 3 major revenue streams. The blue line is your operating revenue. The red line is your ad valorem taxes, and that purple line is your capital grants and contributions. So you can see that your 2 of your revenue streams remain pretty consistent year over year, but those FEMA funds coming in really increased your revenue through 2023. Okay, here's the federal award findings. The first one is the material weakness. It has to do with your federal grant revenue recognition. Basically, what we're saying is that the grant revenues were not recorded in the proper reporting period, so there were quite a few audit adjustments required to properly recognize grant activity. The next 4 are going to be significant deficiencies. As far as the district credit cards, the district did not have a formal credit card policy establishing approved purchases, documentation requirements, spending limits, and review procedures. The third, which y'all have already talked about, the timeliness of bank reconciliations. Just as a reminder, we're looking back at 2023, so some things have been implemented since then, but these are findings for that period. Next slide, please. The fourth finding has to do with the TCDRS contribution calculations. There were inconsistencies in how those calculations were being determined on an employee-by-employee basis. The fifth finding has to do with the access that employees have to QuickBooks. So it should be limited for employees, that they can't go back and make adjustments unless their job title, it makes sense for them to be able to do that. And then the sixth is our one finding for federal award compliance, and there was a weakness in the review of FEMA requests. So there were some requests that were being duplicated for reimbursement, some didn't have proper support, and some were just ineligible costs. Does anyone have any questions over the findings? Yes.
Are any of these deficiencies still in existence?
I'll have to ask at Mr. Miller, but I'll get back to you.
Bob has a question.
Let me just
Sorry.
comment that, that's really a question you can't ask them at this point because they haven't done that work yet. So what I will represent to you is that for the most part, these deficiencies have been corrected. I will defer to Adamson as they do the audits as to whether they've gotten totally corrected, but I believe we have them.
Okay. Just so the question eventually gets answered.
Yes, but it's not a fair question for Caitlin because they haven't done that work yet.
Right, and so the way this works is we issue our findings, and then management has an opportunity to respond, and they'll draft a response of what their plan of action is to remedy if it hasn't already been remedied. Any other questions over the findings? No? Okay. Next slide, no problem. Okay, so there's a couple of, this is kind of like the disclaimer on the prescription commercials. There's some things we're required to tell you as auditors. We're required to communicate with governance, which is you. The first is what our responsibilities are, and our responsibility is to form an opinion on the financial statements as a whole. We're required to test transactions, and we're required to communicate any significant matters to you, the board. Next slide. The next part we're required to communicate to you is management's responsibility. So it's management's responsibility to prepare financial statements in accordance with U.S. GAAP, establish and maintain internal controls, safeguard district assets and maintain accurate accounting records, design and implement programs and controls to prevent and detect fraud, and oversee any non-audit services provided by the auditors. So that would include things like the data collection form, preparation of the financial statements, anything we're doing that goes outside of the scope of the audit. As far as accounting policies, we would be required to communicate if there were any new accounting policies adopted during the year or any changes that were made to existing accounting policies. There were none. We're required to communicate to you any significant accounting estimates within your financial statements. For you, that would be the pension liability to TCDRS. This liability is determined by TCDRS, but we are required to make sure it seems reasonably accurate. Next slide. We are required to communicate with you any significant difficulties encountered during the audit. Audit delays were the major difficulty encountered. Obtaining supporting documentation responses to any inquiries. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements, there were none. The district made all adjustments that we suggested. Any disagreements with management, we had none. And we have received written representations from a separate letter from management saying that the information they provided to us was complete and accurate. Next slide. We're also required to let you know if there were consultants with any other accountants during the 2023 period. There were no such consultations. Any other findings are issued, and then we are required to tell you that we only perform limited procedures on the management's discussion and analysis and pension schedules, and that we do not issue an opinion on those. I think that's the end, but yes, that's the end. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay. Commissioners?
I'm waiting for all the thank yous, but that's okay, that's okay.
This is, I will say, in all the years I've been a commissioner, this is the best presentation we've had. I really, because I think the slides help tremendously.
Amen to that.
Very good.
And you didn't acknowledge that I said all of the thank yous and thank God and all that when you introduced yourself?
That's true. Thank you, Mr. Wright.
No, terrific job. Thank
I want to
you
make
very
a
much.
comment that you kept Mr. Wright quiet which,
It was the
He tells me-
pictures. It was the pictures, you know?
which tells me it's a damn good report.
Well, we have the other one on the other end who's quiet too.
Yeah, I know.
Good news usually has no issues.
Yes.
And I would like to say thank you. Y'all came in way under your budget. It just scared me to death.
Yeah.
Y'all came in at a reasonable rate, so very exciting and looking forward to moving on with y'all the next 2
We're excited too. Thank you.
We need a motion?
Yes.
May I ask one more question of probably Bob? One of the latter statements was consulting contracts with other accountants. And you said there were none? Did I understand?
During 2023, there
This
were
is in
none.
23.
At what point did we engage Jeff Smith?
I'm not exactly sure when Jeff Smith was engaged, but that's not the type of communication that they're talking about.
Okay.
There are specific requirements where they have to engage other accountants to do work.
Okay.
Or accountants are doing work that gets incorporated. Jeff didn't do any of that. Everything that Jeff did was audited by Adams.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
22, I think, is when he came on board, summer of 22.
Right.
Okay.
But he was
No other
helping with the
questions?
procedures, I
Okay.
believe. Very good, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very, very much.
Can I make the motion?
We'd love for you to make the motion.
I make a motion that we accept the 2023 audit report from Adamson.
I will happily second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You'd be shot at sunrise if you did.
Thank you.
Thank you all very, very much. Great job.
Thank you,
The
Vicki.
reporter's tracking her down.
Oh, the
Well, how you gonna top that, big boy?
Okay. And next up will be 2024, and then we hope to have all the remaining 2024 and 25 finished by the end of this year. That is our goal, and that will put us on track. Okay, item 4, update, deliberate, and possible action, approval of the Rockport band shell construction and project design. And this is Mr. De Leon's project.
Yeah, Marco gave us a estimated diagram and engineering process of what the band shell is going to look like. And I think it's an awesome architectural work for the band shell to come back. You want to give us a rundown?
Absolutely. So Pete and I have asked the help of Mark Priestner, who works at Half Engineering. Mark has done this type of work across the state and probably the country as well, and figured that he could do a very good job in the details of planning this park as a whole, not just the band shell itself. And so I'd like Mark to kind of talk about the concept and also open it up for discussion with the commissioners of any other things you might want to see in this area so that we can incorporate them now and then proceed accordingly. So I'll hand it over to Mark.
Thank you. I'm Mark Priestner. I'm with HAF. We've been working with our friends at LJA with Marco Polo. He does take offense that that was the best presentation you ever heard because he said he's given plenty of these, so he must be boring. But what I want to talk about, so I've been in planning for 29 years. I do both park grants, design, construction. But I also do more municipal planning, comp plans, that kind of thing. When I started talking with Marco about this project, what I want to say is, number one, I'm very informal. So if you want to stop, ask questions, go ahead.
Yes. Would you please spell your name so we can get that on the record?
Yes, ma'am.
correctly?
Priestner, Priestner, like a priest with
Good
an E.
question.
Yes.
Yes.
So.
That's the old reporter coming out.
So what I like to do, so when we start looking at projects like this, number one, nothing happens in a vacuum. What we're really looking at is, what's happening everywhere else around. How does this tie into your identity, your branding, to everything that you're doing? Rockport is doing a lot of really good things with downtown, and it's about the identity of the community, not any one given, location or entity that's paying for it. So what we want to do when we look at, kind of a master plan on anything is give you ideas of, number one, what can it be? How can it be used 365 days a year, rather than just for, events that utilize the band shell. The band shell is a critical component of it, but how is it used year round? And then start giving you things to start planning towards. The worst thing that an entity can do is look back and say, I wish I woulda. It's looking at where are those things, where are the opportunities, because you may not do all of these things up front, but it's giving you an idea and a roadmap to kind of follow so that when money comes available or when opportunities arise, then hey, here's something that we want to put it towards. When you look at the budgeting on it, what we're doing at this point is this is very high level. This is, approximations based on recent projects, given what we know at this point. We have not gotten into detailed engineering yet. So we don't know. There are things that can pop up. When you look at like how we budget, anytime we're doing a retrofit or a redo of a project, we're gonna have a higher contingency cost just because of the unknowns. And there may be things that as we get into this and start detailing it out, some of these costs may come down, some things may pop up. So what we're trying to do is give you a roadmap to follow and start looking at, right? So what I want to do just really quickly is kind of go through, when I started looking at this, when Marco brought me in, when I look at the band shell itself, I love the concept. You look at this building that you guys are sitting in right now, your identity and what you've been doing, branding, this is so cool. And this is an opportunity to really increase that visibility and start using it throughout so you have a consistency throughout your park stuff. The idea of just, what we want to do first is try to utilize what we have existing. Where are the trees that are existing, the slab's already there, but how can we make it less drab and start making it more colorful or, making it where it's a play feature. I love to tell the story. So about 20 years ago, we did a massive playground in Richmond, Texas. And the city back then spent about $300,000 on this playground, which was a lot back then. I went out after it was all complete and open to go take pictures of kids playing on the playground. There were about 5 or 6 kids out there playing. Not a single one was on the playground. They were all in the creek behind the playground hitting each other with sticks, right? It's about how do people use it. So when we're looking at this, what we're trying to incorporate are things that are just random, unorganized play. We may have some hopscotch painted into the colorful patterns that end up being on the slab. The berms, kids rolling around in the dirt, that's what they do. So it's looking at kind of what are these features? How can this be more of a big entertaining feature? We want to include in here, we've included things like area lights, berming, grassing, irrigation, bringing it up to that next level as far as our concept. We also are going to include into here spots for food trucks. We were talking earlier, the secret sauce on food trucks is making sure that you have multiple locations throughout your community. They like to go where people are. So they're going to be here during events, but they're not necessarily here every weekend. But set it up where it's something that is usable when a food truck is not there. So when we look at all of these elements, we want to incorporate what you can, but then really start thinking outside the box and looking ahead to, if we start with just the band shell or just the painting, we still have the ability to add the lighting, the string lights, lighting for the stage, up lights. It's all about identity. And then lastly, what I wanted to point out, my thought was I know wind's an issue here. What we were looking at is the prevailing wind locations, but rather than just having a big screening wall, is breaking them up where they feel more like sand dune fences. Look at what you guys have done here. Have berms that come up 3 or 4 feet and then have a section of a slatted fence that may be a 15-foot section and break those up so you still get the same effect, but it looks like, hey, this is a cool beach feel.
In the north, we call them snow fences.
Yes. And I'm from Canada, by the way.
Oh, well, then you know what, and they're big.
Yes, absolutely. But it's thinking outside the box. So at this point, what I want from y'all is some feedback on what do you like, what do you not like, what do you want to see more of, what have we missed, what do you hate in this thing? Because at this point, we are just at we are at the beginning stages of really figuring out what do you want this to be. And I would tell you at this point, set the bar way up here. As we get into real construction plans and we start having the financial constraints of what those elements are, we're gonna compromise down a little bit, but set your bar up high right now. Because a lot of people will look at something and, you know when you see something and you go, I don't know what it is, but that is really cool. You know, expectations are here. If we can go above expectations, people really look at it and go, man, that's cool, I like that. So I'd like to open it up to y'all for some feedback. What do you like? What do you not like? Where do you want to go from here?
Okay, well, Martin, you want to go first since it's your
Yeah,
project?
are there electrical outlets all along the concrete slab or,
Say that one more time?
electrical outlets?
Yes.
Are there gonna be plenty?
Yes, what I would plan for is, so if we're gonna do, what we would most likely do is as part of the lighting package, you know, when we start looking at area lights and running them around, we're gonna need to make sure we have improved electricity, especially around the band shell itself, not knowing what that is gonna be. But I would also look at each of the area lights having some sort of pedestal part of the bottom where we have the ability to have that. The food truck locations, I would probably target 2 to 3 at this point, maybe the ability to add, and those would probably also include like an RV type of hookup where you have water, power, and air in a small pedestal. So that would be as well.
Okay.
Maybe try to include on the outer perimeters of it like a, something for the kids, the younger kids, swings, whatever.
Okay? Yeah.
That keeps them away from the actual.
Is there, okay, let me ask you this from just a practical standpoint. As I look, and I don't have a bigger aerial, but as I kind of come down to the southwest, you know, there's a big area that the trail kind of circles an area.
Right.
Is there some of that area that we could kind of bleed into?
Right.
And the reason I ask that is one thing I always caution communities on is you don't want to get claustrophobic in anything you're doing. Make
Right.
sure you still have space.
Spending
People
space.
like to go relax, right? So if I could bleed out into that area a little bit with plans, you know, or just other elements, I didn't know what the restrictions were or where you want us to stop or go. Yes, sir.
What I haven't heard is the more basic concept, what are we aiming for? We know what the original band shell looked like. Why are we rebuilding it? What's the purpose of having the band shell? And so what is the use of this area around it? The sort of foundation that we're starting with, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what I have heard, and Marco can answer more to this, but you know, there's a history with the band shell that was there. I was talking to one of my friends that's the deputy city manager in Tyler just this weekend, and she was like, I had a family reunion out there like 10 years ago. That identity and that sense of community, a central area out there is very important. But again, I think it's not just about what that band shell is, it's what can it be for other things. How does that become a more central gathering space of that area?
Right, so my question kind of leads to, what use do we expect to be made of that? And so then what amenities do you need to have right in this vicinity out in front of it? What are we trying to accomplish?
Okay, yes. So the amenities would be like, again, the band shell is the band shell. You will have events there, but the question becomes how many of those are programmed out throughout a year, right? So it still becomes a central component of it, but what are the other things? To me, it becomes more of a central play gathering, you know, daily, you know, kids, whatever, in that area. Lighting, parking,
Well, what I heard you say in the very beginning is you get involved in these things because you want to make it where it's an area of play and expand its use. One of the things the last I got on this was, you know, wow, look at all this, and we really need to beautify our areas, especially amenities like this. And I heard you say that, the hopscotch, the play, the dirt, the berms. One of the things that's really gonna help that holds things like this back is windbreak. And you mentioned that y'all designed that into it. So, yeah, it's just a play, more attractiveness and another amenity.
And one thing that's missing a lot, just in the way that we tend to do it, is it's that unorganized, if you're just trying to kill, think of a family with young kids and they're like, man, we got to kill 45 minutes. Where can we go just hang out and do nothing for 45 minutes? You're looking for those types of facilities. I would look at, when I just look across there, I think long-term, I would look at maybe some more permanent types of restrooms. Could we add that in, to that pirate shack? Is there some ability to combine those rather than having just porta potties? But again, it's really, that's not something that needs to be done today. It's thinking ahead and where do you want to spend money wisely and where do opportunities come up?
And I think our original goal was to get that band shell back up, right?
Yeah.
And then.
It's an identity feature.
Yeah.
I mean, people know.
That's what we were prepared for, and I'm glad to see that somebody's thinking about making it even more attractive because it was only used so much.
Very little
We've
use.
talked about food trucks in that area, and the big problem was wind. I think, didn't we even buy some picnic tables to put
We
up
did
there?
put picnic tables out there, yes.
We've got picnic tables that we're already putting at the Rockport Harbour. We've got another food truck, so having the possibility of food trucks here would be, the kids play some of the ideas with, as you said, hopscotch and chess. Make those into
A family event. You gotta have a family event and it has to be attractive. I mean, we are a tourism town here.
Yeah.
And this would bring even more people, more sales to the gates, so that's positive in our side.
And then another thing that we're looking at, one of the things that I preach a lot is looking at long-term maintenance. Some of the things like we're showing seating walls that are more permanent so that you're not having to replace things. The paint, that's something that, when you start looking at it, you would do it in a method that's very similar to how you do like a tennis court with a plexi pave or something that it's got longevity to it, but that is something that's going to have to be redone. But what we try to do is, like with the berms and the fencing, is do more permanent style structures, more landscaping features that don't have to be maintained. They'll be maintained, but you're not having to go replace here your humidity, that salt, humidity, and wood just does not last very long here. So what we want to do, we want to try to incorporate as many permanent features and just keep an eye on that. Nothing is maintenance free. I will tell you that right now.
Well, we know that.
But we can at least be thinking about that. And again, my hope with this is just to get you thinking more long-term. It's not that all of this has to be done up front, but be thinking about where things go, what else are we missing, think outside the box.
Well, because when I saw that price tag of $291,000, it was like, whoa, that's way beyond the budget we had anticipated for this.
Correct, and it's done in a way that not all of this needs to be done. I mean, you can start with just the band shell, but what I want you to do and be thinking about with the budget is be thinking long-term. It gives you items that you can go to an HEB that has a community improvement fund. You can go to a Lowe's, to a Home Depot. A lot of them have smaller pots of money, $30,000 and $40,000 that they want to put or they need to put into the community. If you have an item that hey, we've got this, X, whatever it is that we want, it's $30,000. Will you guys do that and support it? We'll put your name on it somewhere. It's that thinking behind it so that you have something to plan ahead for.
Right.
If y'all remember, the last number we heard was 140,000, was what Pete said when we were over in the other building. And they've also said they've identified funding sources for that. And once again, it doesn't have to all be done at once. Just
Correct.
a little annual investment. But,
Yes.
I'm excited about the beautification of it and the utilization of it. And when
Jerry's got something to say over here, guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Martin, did you see this originally as a concert venue? a music,
Not a concert venue, but for use of local groups that want to come out and play.
So, yes.
That was the concept to begin with. They come in and they put their instruments out there and they start playing, they utilize it. It draws people in, you know?
and so would we need the area in front of it to be designed so it would accommodate an audience, a small audience perhaps, but it would need to be designed in that way.
That's what they have right now.
That's what we're doing. It's just giving it where it's got more 365-day-a-year use. But it would still, that's why that slab is still there. The seating walls and areas are outside of that, so you still have that same gathering space.
What would your design do with the slab itself? Would that be enhanced in some way, or is it just concrete slab?
Well, we would, paint, color, put things on it, seal it, but add around to the edges. Instead of it being this hard rectangle, I would add in, these seating walls where the berms kind of come into the back of it, so it feels like it's sort of dug out in there. It's taking a very hard edge and softening it up with something else.
Yeah.
What's the material this is going to be made of now?
Which part?
The shell itself?
The shell would probably be an aluminum, is that like
Yeah,
a slatted?
It was the concept that we've discussed in the past.
Yeah.
So it's something that's wind resistant, also
Weather resistant.
weather resistant, saltwater resistant. That can, the weather piece is what damaged the original shell to begin with. So we're making sure that we're designing this in a form with materials that can withstand those types of winds.
So that would be similar to the earlier design that we saw, which was you say slatted
Yes.
aluminum shell.
It'll have those slats, and I apologize, this was my mistake. The rendering, again, this is all conceptual, but it will be that slatted horizontal
Doesn't sound
slab,
easy,
so that
yeah.
wind can pass through it and it can
Right.
also withstand the salt water.
One of
But
the-
sorry, go ahead.
One of the statements I remember Pete making was, is it could be done to windstorm code as well, which it would need to be in order to
Yes.
get the permits for it.
Exactly.
One of the things that I see is just because of where we are, you wouldn't know it today, but our water supply is still pretty limited. If that's going to be grass, or are you going to need a well to irrigate it? Because you certainly can't do it with city water today, and maybe not ever. There are grasses available to do that. You can actually water with salt water. So did you consider any of that, or is it just?
Absolutely.
Yes, and we're not to that design level yet, but yes, everything that we would want to do here, all vegetation needs to be native and works here with very little maintenance and water. So there are a lot of different things. It's really more just showing at this point that it's an improved, more manicured feeling area rather than just sand.
And the other thing to add on that is kind of the vegetation planning around this. I'd personally like to hear Charlie Miller's thoughts as well, just because he has such a great experience in the area's vegetation. So partnering with citizens like that can provide their perspective, professional perspective would be extremely helpful in all of this. I think the goal here is to bring back the band shell. And the original purpose of that were the concerts and that kind of nighttime feeling for Rockport. And so that is one of the main goals. But I think what Mark is trying to say is we don't want to just limit it to that. We want it to be something that's really attractive to see, that can be used for that, can be used for a wedding venue potentially if someone wants it. The string lights, it can be used for picnics for people that are coming onto the beach. Multi-use venue. That way we're making more of the space than just purely for a concert here or there.
Open reunions, they can also happen too, so.
Yeah, correct, absolutely.
I mean,
Okay. Long, you haven't weighed in yet?
Not yet. If you get the grant, all this gotta be all in one time, because you can't put pieces. There's no way you put a piece here, a piece there, and a piece here. It look like crap. I don't want to hear any song like Johnny can't sing one pieces at a time. That's not work here in South Texas. If you decide to build the band shell, it's good. And then you decide to mirror those colors in the concrete, 2 years from now, and then another year from now, from there, everything faded out.
Well, and that's what I would tell you is absolutely. I mean, best case scenario is we can find funding and grant
Right.
funding and it all gets done at once. Because
Understand.
you save on mobilization, it's
Right.
one contractor, no pointing fingers. But
That's right.
should that not happen, what I want you to do is make sure you're looking at kind of sequencing of what are our have-tos and what are our want-tos. Because if our budget is going to limit us to this, what are the things that we can get in under the budget you have and make sure that that still works as a standalone?
Yeah.
And also, maintenance. How many more crew are you gonna add on to this? See,
Yeah.
that's the questions. Everybody looked at it, the picture loved it, all colorful.
Yeah.
But the maintenance every year, and then she gonna come up and say, hey, look, you guys, we need more help.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking,
That's what I'm
First of
saying,
all-
that's what I'm saying. It's thing like that, you
yeah,
gotta.
no, you're right. I mean, I'm looking at the colors, it's like red is gonna fade quickly, orange is gonna be right behind it, you know?
But don't get caught up in that. That's
Right.
really just, that is not anything what it will look like.
It's-
This
Okay.
is just, it's doing something other than
Right.
drab slab.
Right,
Are you
right.
able to do some sort of predictive maintenance need for this type of facility?
To
That really-
some degree, you know, like we have lifespans on the different materials and coatings and things like that.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because, you know, when it's sitting on the water, the effect of the salt water,
Yeah.
you know, air blowing on it all the time.
Right.
And
It's
the
just so different than anybody will
is.
tell you. And so, you know, we can sort of do it, but it's, you know, again, it really goes back to, you know, are we wanting to provide things that are more better for the community and how does this tie into, again, it's the overall, are we trying to be a destination based? What are the things that we're providing? Again, there is nothing magical about what is shown right now. What I want from you guys is we don't want to waste time and money of yours designing out things that you don't want or that doesn't fly here. So we want you to be thinking about where do we go from here before we really dive into it.
Okay, I love the concept, but I want to see what kind of reactions we get from the community. This is quite pricey, and I would like to see if we have some
Don't
community
blow more
support.
money in this and stupid stuff, okay, guys? Come on, be real.
You want to tell me the stupid stuff?
All throughout the years that I've been here, I've seen it happen.
All right. But I just think that there's some opportunity, and I think Pete has alluded to the fact that there's some opportunity for some grant money.
Yes.
And there are
There are a lot.
several
Yeah.
opportunities. I would say the other thing to consider, not that this would happen, but if the grant money doesn't come in all at once immediately, there's also opportunities to apply for grants that, you know, in the future to then pay for it back as well. So there's multiple ways to go about this. There's also private funding opportunities, like Mark mentioned, with the HEBs, the Lowe's, so on and so forth, that do these types of fundings all the time also.
Right.
So there are a lot of different avenues here. I think what we want,
Sponsorships, there's a lot of people out there with
Yeah.
sponsors. Those big corporations would love to come in and put their name on something that would help out on
right,
contributing out to this stuff. But our main concept right now is to either approve the design to start off with, the potential design with the understanding that there may be some additions to it, modifications to it, but it gets us started to start this band shell project moving forward. I think that's the only,
You would,
Concept.
in line of what Martin's saying, you would have a recommendation, I would think, of the first stages. What would you recommend to the commission at the first stage of this process? And so they can say, for example, we like that, move forward with the design of that stage.
well, I also think maybe something that we could do is, if this is kind of the highest level, we like all these different ideas. Maybe what we could do is provide you with the the smaller version, medium version, larger version, and see those 3 different options, and then allow you to kind of decide what you want to tackle in the short term versus the long term. And everything can be planned out so that the long term maybe is still available to do, but we could start, you know, with a smaller initiative first, if that's something that you guys would want to do.
Okay, I'm gonna make one other comment. When I first saw this, it's like, that design, that coloring is not coastal except for a beach ball. That's the only connection I can see.
Well, we could, yes, all of that can be changed.
No, again, all of that is to be, it's really just to get you seeing that it needs to be something other than
Sure.
drab concrete.
Can you come back with a staging proposal
Yeah, of
and
course.
some costs on that?
Yeah, and we've got some of them kind of put together. There are, again, you know, there are the want tos and the have tos, and so we need to
Right.
kind of put them in that order. But absolutely, and again, it's looking at, you know, what we need to do is just, if you like the general idea of where we're headed with it, we can fine tune numbers and costs and staging. You know, where we're at is just, what do you guys want to see? You know, this thing, it could be absolutely anything. It could be a do nothing. You know, we need to know where you guys are at from that standpoint.
But that's an area that's been long underutilized. I mean, that's one reason we put those picnic tables there, trying to induce people to get there, and it didn't work.
I actually like this concept. I can see, just obviously I'm not from around here, and my first experience of something like this was Garner State Park. And this gives me, the actual design gives me that kind of feel where there's half walls. And that gives that community feel on a Friday night, Saturday night. Everywhere where'd you go? You go to that little dance section at Garner State Park.
Yeah.
And I can see something like this. Yes, the district, there's going to be some additional maintenance and there's going to be practicalities that we're going to have to look at. But as a high-end concept, I actually like it.
I do too. I think it's an opportunity to do something, not just for ourselves, but for the community. When the skate park was built, it was boo-hooed, and but yet it's used. Memorial Park is used. It's something else for the kids to do, and they don't have to pay an interest fee to do it.
But
They do actually.
are you
They
gonna-
do, yes, it says actually behind the
Are
gate.
y'all gonna design the restroom and everything accessible for the people surround there, or
No.
you gonna
There's
walk
not a
it?
restroom in it now.
No, there's no restroom.
Yeah.
In the future, gonna have to.
Yeah, but
That's
everything
another
that we do,
contract.
now, here's the plus. Out there's probably 1.5 feet of elevation change over the entire peninsula, right? So ADA is pretty easy to address compared
Right,
to,
understand.
I live in East Texas. So, but what I would want to do is just, again, I want you to be thinking ahead so that as we look at, like the comment about the power outlets around there, you know,
Right.
if we're doing that in conjunction with something else, we know that we're putting it in the right place. And so we don't go, oh man, I shouldn't have put that there. Well, let's dig it up and, you know, we don't want to spend you know, if we're going to do the money, let's do it right and do it at one time in the right
That's it.
place.
That's me. Let's get
I
it
think it's a
done.
good idea for progress and also for the park to gain another icon, start it all over again, is what we had before. Maybe well, they've already got that already, never mind, forget it. Down in front of the maybe.
A comment that I would make is, I don't know if he started this before I came on board, but at least the first meeting where I was a part of the commission, Martin's been talking about bringing this forward, bringing it back, bringing it back. We've gotten here to a design stage, or at least a concept stage. We just need to keep that motion going.
So that's gonna be my next question then, is, so what I would like to suggest to the commissioners is, for the next meeting, we come back with maybe a more solidified version of this, potentially with 2 or 3 different levels of what we could do, and then be prepared for that meeting if we want to proceed with the engineering and creating the actual construction plans from there. So that would be, that's kind of how I see the phasing of this happening. But also, if you want to move faster than that, that can also happen. It's whatever the commissioners prefer to do.
Well, I think our projected project completion was for the 100th celebration,
Right.
to include it in it.
And when is that?
We can't have all, I don't see how we can have all this done.
So we can, I mean, I don't know how long it would take to get this constructed after we get it approved. Were y'all looking at months, years, what?
Oh, no, I mean, a typical park project, you know, if we were just, let's say we were starting from scratch on a park project, you know, they're not the same level of detail as building a city hall or whatever. You're usually talking about 4 to 5 months on total construction. On something where the slab's already in place, you know, it depends, you know, assuming permitting goes fairly quickly on, you know, which we're having approved by the city, I would say, you know, you probably, given materials, probably 4 months.
And the timeline for the creating the construction plans and the.
Oh, that's,
design?
that's probably 30 days, 45 days tops. There's nothing really complicated in this, again, because a lot of it's already in place. The biggest thing is looking at structural on the band shell itself, making sure that any, you know, footing pylons are done to make sure that they're meeting the wind load on that, because that's really the only thing that would be a big kind of wind bearing type of structure.
And that's all been done, right?
Well,
Not the structural.
There's been a eye view analysis of it. I think if you want to do the actual full, you would need to actually get into the engineering.
It's just designing really the footings. Below grade.
I look into your budget here. Once again, the main goal was to get that shell back up. On an engineering front on that, I have an aluminum boat that takes the same thing, and it's gonna be powder coated and it's gonna bubble. Make sure that the design enables them to be sandblasted and painted easily, quickly.
Okay.
And that seems easy to do with the
That's a
slab
suggestion.
design. That's my first input.
Yeah.
The power is gonna be there as well.
Yeah.
We have looked into some serious long-term super waterproof power. That's an engineering front on that. Looking back to your budget here, what I think, we're looking at the band shell, and I assume your estimate is confident at 30 grand, which is really reasonable for what we talked about, and we've identified some places where we can get that. I think
that's assuming, that's like $25 a face foot type of cost.
where we were focused on the band shell and getting that up. I think the question we have today and what we need to answer is we're looking at a $30,000 engineering bill to get us to the next level. Do we want to go further or do we not? And I would say yes. I'm on big beautification.
Well, and that fee is assuming the whole thing. So what you would do in that case, and again, it really just depends on what way you guys want to go, but if you did the complete engineering plans for everything out there, that's what you're looking at, and then those things may not be constructed until you're ready to go.
Right.
But you would have the plans done. And again, what you're making sure is that you're not redoing, like when you look at MEP, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, you know, that needs to be run one time and assume complete build out so that you're not putting the wrong size wires in, or not putting it in the right place, or irrigation, or, you know, whatever those elements are.
And once again, I hadn't brought this up, but we don't have a revenue producer, and this looks like we could have a revenue producer.
Maybe.
For other
Somewhat.
events. It gives it the ability to attract more people and more things. On the maintenance front, I mean, you're talking sand berms and some concrete walls. It's a hand mower, or push mower to get into the detail, and a weed eater, and of course y'all probably design stuff around that. But I do see getting closer to an ROI. The food trucks, one of the things that you mentioned was the food trucks want to move. we have not seen a food truck in Rockport, Texas really make it other than the snow cone man who's been a fixture, and he moves, right?
He does,
And
and he pays to move.
Yeah, and we talked about, you know, making this easy in and out for food trucks for events. And when you do it for an event, you can charge what you charge for a month normally to get it done. The same thing, we talked about at the sculpture garden, the food court there. Make it quick, make it in and out, and for events, that's where they want to be. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to have full-time, not for a while anyway, is what I've witnessed there. So we've got we're shooting at 30 grand for the thing we all really wanted and wanted to have, which was the band shell. And then we're looking at another 30 grand to give us some future planning and some concept. And that's the decision we have to make, is to move forward. These guys, you know, have done this, your group, I take it as, we have done it as a conceptual drawing, and if we go any further, it's time to pay up. So I guess, you know, kind of that's what we need to do. And whether we need to hit a $291,000 budget right now, I don't think so. But, you know, do we want to do the band shell? I think everybody says yes. If the number is 30,000, I say absolutely to go. And then if we want to take it further to give the public what they deserve, remember, we bring in almost $1 million on that beach, and it can be increased, especially if we're using it on weeknights and things like that. So, you know, I think we should definitely make the decision and move forward to make it, to beautify it and make it a very attractive spot for the public.
Okay, we have other questions down here.
Judy, it seems to me at this point, you don't need to approve a design budget for the whole project. What you need today is to approve what it's going to take to get to the next stage.
Correct.
So what would it cost between now and 30 days from now to get these stages in front of them so they can make further decisions? Would that be an appropriate way to handle this?
Yeah,
I think so.
And clarify what the next stages are.
Yes.
yeah.
As I read your report, it says the budget of $33,250 for engineering, surveying, and permitting.
And that would,
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, but that also provides you with the construction plans.
Yeah, that's the construction, and that's,
Okay.
you know, that's based on construction dollars. You know, again, as far as like doing up the conceptual part, like you know, here's kind of the where we are. So when we're looking at, if you already knew, okay, here's my approved plan, this is what we're going with, and we're putting together the construction plans and the permitting, all of that, that's an easy, you know, that's a relatively easy number to get to based on the total construction budget, because that's what you're designing out. On the conceptual planning stage, you know, if you wanted to just do multiple concepts and, you know, just come up with, you know, budget numbers that are not based on, you know, your construction amount, the engineering drawings probably don't, that number doesn't change when you get to construction plans. But just to probably get to the next stage, you're probably talking, you know, I would say $4,500 to probably get everything really lined out where you have concepts to deal with.
Okay, so if they gave you if today they gave you a budget of $5,000,
Yeah.
that would be adequate to
Yes.
bring the next stage information to
Yeah,
them.
and it would be a not to exceed, so it's basically just the time in it.
Okay.
You know, that's how
So that's
we-
what you would need.
Yeah, we operate, we don't, you know, we're not here to retire off of a concept plan for this part. We want
That's
to
a
make
good
sure
thing.
you're getting what you want for the community, and that's what we're really driven in.
So you're saying $5,000 would probably cover what we
Yeah.
need for the next stage?
But that's a city permit? Y'all gonna get involved with the city?
That's what's included in the construction, the engineering.
I just wanna make sure, just, the
Plans.
city's always want the,
Yes, so the engineering plans assume and include permitting through the city.
okay, so
Not
I
the
make sure.
5,000.
That's not
Yeah, I
So-
understand that, just wanna make sure that.
Yes.
Here's my question. What if we want to rush into the man show? Get that done.
We can do it quick.
And there's nothing that precludes us from moving down that road.
Yeah.
So we go band shell, it's
That's it.
40, up to $40,000.
Commissioner Moore?
Yep.
May I ask you to please stop pounding the table to make your point?
Yes,
When can a politician not bang on the table? to
The
make
rest
their
of us
point?
don't.
I hear it.
no one else does. And also, this is Martin's project. Martin, what are your thoughts on this?
I brought them here for y'all to decide. I mean, I'm all for it, full force, from the very beginning. We need to get this thing going. We need to get the public, what they deserve. And I'm hearing all kinds of stuff from the attorneys and y'all. Come on, people, let's get it together.
May I make a motion?
Let's get it going.
Okay,
Give it
Hold on, one more time.
Don't pound on the desk.
Let's get them okay to go. Let's get the band shell start. That's it. Done. How about that, Martin? You don't like that either?
That's fine.
All right.
Let's get it going.
Let's get going.
Something, we gotta do something.
Jack, you wanted to make a motion. What
I
is
would
it?
make the motion that we establish an up to $5,000 budget to get basic engineering designs.
Engineering
To
has
get
to
it
be
to
done
the
first.
next level.
No, and
That doesn't move us along.
Pardon me.
But-
The next stage isn't the engineering, it's the design concepts. But you can make a motion to include the band shell concept and engineering all as a package.
What do we need to
And that's
do
what you meant.
next to move the band shell itself forward?
If we do the 5,000 to update all of this, and we'll pull out all the elements, we can list out engineering, construction, everything on just the band shell by itself. So it's a standalone item, so if you want to pull
Okay.
the trigger on that and get it going tomorrow, you can.
I think there's a general consensus we wanted at least have that. expand on
But the
that.
caveat is, make sure when you do that, you're running your electricity and looking at it for the entire
All right,
project.
Ron,
because you
Yes.
need to
so
do
it
that
costs you
one
some
time.
money later on.
Right.
Right.
Some are like,
I went through the same concept with the county and the jail. I told them to go ahead and build the extra pods, and they didn't do it. They waited 5 years, and bam, cost them 3 times as much.
Well, we're not gonna hopefully not wait 5 years on this.
And so we're looking at power and lighting, power for the shell and lighting. Those are the things that are right there.
Okay, so you think, based on Mr. Wright's proposal or his what he just said,
Reasonable.
that would cover what you need for the next
Yes.
step?
Yes.
All right, and that was, you want to
I
restate
second
that?
it.
All right, we have a-
I need to go back to, what did you want me to modify just to make it?
Well, your motion said for the engineering,
Yes.
and I don't think they're at the engineering stage yet. They are in design, but maybe you're correct, because if you, are you talking about now actually moving to the engineering on the band shell?
Okay, so what the 5,000 would cover is a really detailed concept plan, budgeting, and pull out the band shell as a standalone band shell plus engineering, all the costs associated with it, including permitting through the city, whatever.
Okay.
So then we can come back with, hey, you can go ahead and pull the trigger on that, get it going, but I would still look at, we want to make sure that when we do that engineering for the band shell, that's probably including the electrical engineering design for the entire site. Because if we
Okay.
don't do that, you're gonna cost yourself in the long run.
we don't want to do that.
So Jack's motion was for engineering, and we're talking, if Jack's motion is 5,000 for the more detailed design stage.
Yeah, and then that will include, that detail will have the standalone that, but also will have each of the individual items so that you can look at it from a budgeting standpoint and say, okay, let's include X, Y, or Z and start
Okay.
working towards
And
it.
can you
It
have
would
a-
also give us the ability with that master plan, like finishing out with a really good budget, to start going after a grant.
Okay.
That we can start kind of pairing up where pots of money are and start working towards that.
So this $5,000 will get us a solid band shell that we can say, go.
Yes.
Okay.
Go for that.
So, all right. Are you happy with the way your motion read?
Sure.
two old men.
And Martin is, you've already seconded that? All right, all in favor?
I second something.
All right, we meet in 3 weeks. Can you have this ready by then?
Yes.
We do want to move forward on this.
Yes.
I think that's our consensus, correct?
Don't worry about that, I'm on vacation, so.
Remember where you are.
Yeah, I get to take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You have to please Martin. Why you have to please Martin? Please Martin.
He started it.
Okay. It's his project, it really is. He's the one, it is his project, and
That's right.
he gets credit for it.
Thank you.
All right, item number 5, deliberate and possible action to approve to hold the 2026 Rockport Fulton Cross Country Invitational Meet hosted by Rockport Fulton High School, event to be held at the Rockport Beach on Saturday, August 22nd, 2026, starting 8 a.m. through 10:30 a.m.
Yes, ma'am. The high school's approached us to hold a cross-country meet on Rockport Beach. They're anticipating 180 to 200 high school students. It'll be a morning event
In August.
in August.
Whoa.
You have an engineering print on this?
Wasn't it?
Nothing, never mind.
He's being smart, Alec. I will say cross-country people are probably used to running in August, even though it sounds horrible to us.
It is in the morning. It is in the morning.
Well, that doesn't, sometimes that doesn't make much difference.
Will that be totally within the beach?
Yes,
Within the
yes, it
gated
will.
area?
Yes, it will be within the gated area. We are anticipating school buses coming through with students at about 6 o'clock in the morning. We are still speaking to them regarding parents and access to how we're going to deal with that. Those are some of the details we are still working on. But it is going to be about 10 schools that they're saying are involved.
That was my question. Was it more than just this district?
Yes, there's about 10 schools.
About 10
As far as-
schools, I mean, they're cross-country teams, basically.
Yes.
Is the beach going to be open to the general public during that time?
We can't close the beach down to general public, but it is early in the morning. So generally, the crowds start to pull in about 10-ish in the morning. So there's definitely some time that there's going to be some crossover, but hopefully with enough publication that we can get out there with the school as well as us, we can handle it. We've generally had very good response to principals in the park, and that's a huge event with the school in partnership.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to push this through because it is our school.
Yes.
What's the normal practice with regard to admission of school buses and parents?
If it's a documented vehicle, so if it's got any state school, anything like that, those vehicles come in for free. With the parents, it's subject to if they're going to be hiring out a pavilion or not. If they're hiring out a pavilion, they come in for free. That's one of the details we need to discuss.
Okay. I'm okay with it, just keep us updated on all those details.
On the public, keep in mind that as school would have started at that point. As soon as school starts, our attendance goes down.
That's very
So
true.
that's for me in the tourism business. So that's not an issue.
Yeah, it's coming to the end of the summer. Once 4th of July, we tend to take it downwards. So I would like to push this through because it is our school district.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And I say we move forward with just normal entrance rates for parents and observers.
It's subject to if the school's gonna hire one of our pavilions or not.
Right.
So if generally our policy is if they're gonna hire one of our pavilions, anybody attending does come in for free.
Good way to
So
take care
it's
of it.
subject to whether or not that's one of the details we're trying to finalize now.
Okay. I see Mr. Benedum's hand.
Why not?
So you're gonna,
Are you trying to say something?
I was wondering if it would make sense to develop a policy for a fixed rate to each participating school to cover insurance for the parents of their students.
Oh,
So the
Let 'em
school
pay.
winds up paying a fixed amount, you
Maybe.
think? Tommy thinks that's
Let
what
them
I
pay. I'd pay.
I mean, maybe further down the line, if this is the first one that, I don't know, the last time we had this kind of event, we're going back almost 1990, maybe the early 2000s, is what I've been told. If this becomes a regular thing, then yes, I think it's for the first time, I think we see how this goes, and we judge it on that. If the commissioner are happy with that at this time.
I think it's fair.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve the use for the cross-country, and I agree with your pricing strategy. If they rent the pavilion, those 150, you get passes, and if they don't, it's regular rates.
Well, another possibility is we do allow people to use the beach, say for weddings, if there's going to be a certain number.
That's what, if you're hiring any kind of facility here, so there could be the open air pavilions, the actual closed pavilions, we do, for anybody attending those events, we do not charge those attendees.
Right.
There's a certain procedure that is followed,
Yeah.
and that's subject to how things go with the school. That's what we're looking at, but we need that to be confirmed at this point.
Okay.
So our standard program
You
works.
wanted to say something?
No, are we gonna verify the person come in with the school, like a tag or something? That we can verify the
With the
vehicles?
amount of schools, 10 different schools, and
They'll have the name on the side of the bus.
the school buses, any other school vehicles that have school name signage, they get them for free anyway. It's just the actual parents, and what will happen is, subject to details, when they get to the booth, our booth attendants will, one of the questions they ask is,
Put them
what are you
stickers.
here for?
Once again, make a motion that we approve the event, and
Okay.
current
So we
rates
have-
totally cover everything. Thank you.
Okay, we have the motion, we have a second. I'll make that second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
Opposed?
much.
Good. Thank you. All right. Item 6, Executive Director's Report.
Okay, bringing the mood down a little bit, we currently having some issues with our restroom facilities throughout the Aransas County. We've got various individuals going into our restrooms, utilizing those restrooms, and making a disgusting mess within them. I'm hoping that, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that whoever is utilizing our facilities, they respect them, please. I've got a lot of the team that have to clean up after them, and it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant for the team that are cleaning it. It's not pleasant for anybody else coming into those facilities. Hopefully, people will be aware now that this is happening, and it will stop. If it doesn't stop, we will have to take it further and look at alternatives, because we've got Cove Harbour. We've had some issues continue over the past couple weeks, months, of our facilities being abused. We've also had a very light vandalism. We think within the restroom share at the park, generally people have gone in and taken toilet paper and thrown it everywhere, and we've had some vandalism to some of our actual porta potties on site as well. So I just want to make everybody aware to please respect our facilities.
Yes.
I got.
That happens when school's out.
The city of Fulton, they shut down at 5 o'clock regardless. They got
The
two skittle
restrooms?
cans, yes. The same thing happened to city of Fulton, so they're getting tired of it. So
And
they
they shut
locked it
down.
at 5
Yes, sir.
o'clock. They have 2 skittle cans, that's all they got.
Yes,
Which
sir.
is pretty cool.
I think Fulton also shuts down their park lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Right, so y'all do, Fulton doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah.
They're trying to
And,
eliminate all the.
I mean, we, to this point, we try and keep our facilities open as long as we can, but if this behavior continues, we may have to look at alternatives, because it's not, no.
Do you have any idea of what time this occurs? Is it generally after 5?
Some of it is after 5, some of it has been within the mornings, so some of it's on the weekends. It varies, depends on
Okay.
on the facilities. So,
So it would help maybe, I mean, I don't want to have to close our restrooms permanently, but I guess it's an alternative if it doesn't
well,
improve.
that's one of the things that if it continues, we may have to discuss that
Yeah.
at some point.
Restroom monitor.
Well, that would be, that's another choice, I guess.
So, it's, yeah, I've got, the team are reporting that this, yeah, the mess that is being made is
So-
not pleasant.
Are we getting any T-shirts flushed down the toilet yet?
Not yet, no. So far, our lift stations have been okay.
Okay, good.
Your reports on, boats being transferred out of the stalls and then the Cove Harbor fire incident?
Okay, I just would like to thank Chief McAllister and our emergency response crews on Saturday night. There was a fire at
Cove Harbor.
Cove Harbor. It was 2 vessels were damaged within that. They contained it. They were there on the scene very quickly, and we had a good response from everybody. So we'll see where this leads.
Those other boats are in the shipyard or
Yes.
the hook and bowl,
Hook and Bull.
They were Hook and Bowl.
Hook and Bull.
which is
Which is
across.
on- It's Cove Harbor South.
Yeah.
So it is Hook and Bull. Hook and Bull is at one of our leases.
Yeah, I got the call as I was coming back from Corpus and stopped by, and you were there, Charles was there, your husband was there, and there were a lot of firemen and vehicles, lots of equipment,
Yes.
so they got it under control very quickly.
So that is, luckily enough, we had a good response and they were able to.
So now what's gonna happen to the damaged stuff?
Fire marshal, that is Jim, who's Hooking Bull. He's see where he was out of town over the weekend, so it's going to be Jim who's going to have to deal with I'm assuming it's going to be insurance, and he will
Yeah.
get with his.
You're in the right place to get cleaned up.
Yes, sir.
More business,
Yeah.
maybe Jim did.
And evictions?
Yes, we're moving on evictions on our end. Our internal staff have started posting notices. So we are starting to work diligently, and we'll see how this progresses. We've started on our notices. So
Boat leases or real estate?
no, this is evictions as in boats, as in we're cleaning up our harbors.
Cleaning up, harbor
Yes.
cleanup,
Yes,
yes, okay. Anything else?
that's it.
Okay, good. Very good. The next, let me get glasses on. Next item is number 7, Chairman and Commissioners' reports, update on other issues. I do have one item I'd just like to throw out there. We have been having sometimes agenda items come in. Our deadline, because of the new state law, our deadline is midnight Tuesday before our next meeting on Monday in order to get it posted. So I'm proposing that we need an earlier deadline. We cannot be sending in agenda items at 5 or 6 o'clock on Tuesday and expect Janine to modify the agenda that has been preparing. So I'm gonna hear some thoughts on what kind of deadline should we impose on ourselves.
I recommend Monday evening at 5 o'clock.
Monday at 5,
Mhm.
previous
How
Monday.
about Sunday at 5 or Sunday?
They're not here.
Monday at 6, when you come in and see it.
Sunday at 5? The sooner the better, I think, in
Yeah, I
my
don't
opinion.
think that really helps her. That gives us the weekend to think about it.
Janine,
Yes, sir.
it's your problem. What do you think?
What would you like to see? Friday?
Friday, end of the 5 o'clock Friday.
Okay.
That would- yeah.
All right, 5 o'clock Friday, which is,
Yes.
so that would be Friday, Saturday. That would be basically three days before the meeting, okay? And that means, and the reason I say it that way is if we end up having a
Before the
Tuesday meeting,
deadline.
then it would be,
3 days before the deadline,
Yeah.
not the meeting's the following week.
right, oh, you're right, exactly right. Thank you for that
So
correction.
Friday before a Monday week later meeting.
Yes, so you'll, generally, we post the agenda on a Tuesday for a Monday meeting, so,
For the following Monday, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I will get
You looking for
change
a
the
motion or
process.
just do it?
No, this is not an agenda item, I
Okay.
just want us to have a consensus so that we understand we need to start getting items to her sooner. I mean, get the item for the agenda, so she can get that. That makes that easier for her, and then we can have a couple of days after that to get supporting documents. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right, all right. Oh, jeez. I'm very sorry about that. I did not mean to do that. Okay, everything else I have, I think, is for the closed session, unless anyone else has anything.
About
Commissioners?
press, you got any questions?
Wait, commissioners? Reports from commissioners, yeah.
I am very pleased to say we have moved way along with our basic port improvement master plan outlining what needs to happen in our harbors that we all have some input on, and we have got along. The work that LJA has done has really I think put us in a good position to get some of the attention that we were promised. Well, let me say, which was indicated from TxDOT. The other good news is we were rolling on. Janine's really helped us get some of the submittal stuff together, and thank you very much. But we were really looking good, and on Friday, TxDOT came out and said, I tell you what, y'all just give us the answers to these questions today by 5 o'clock, and you have till the 29th to finish your submittal. So I'm very,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm very excited that we can, we're gonna put forth a really good, solid survey to be considered and give us a good roadmap.
And this is our master plan.
Very, very excited about that.
Good.
Thanks for everybody's help.
Good. Anyone else?
I think Martin just asked me to give an update on where we are on executive director search. The reality is we only have 4, maybe 5 candidates that we're planning to do interviews. We have another 30, 25-ish to go through. Hopefully we'll find, somebody in the 4 or somebody in the 25-ish. Because we're getting numbers, but not quality.
Not quality. Okay.
Good deal.
And now then, press questions.
When did you guys, this is a question possibly for you or anybody else, when did you guys start the auditing process for 2023, 24, 25, 26 for this report? When did you guys put that out there to have?
When did we
Would it be helpful if he came to the podium to ask the question?
Pardon?
Would it be helpful if he were at the podium?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Come to the podium.
Me?
Yeah.
Up to the
We have
plate.
never asked that before.
We're gonna return the hot seat.
Yeah. I just need to know when you guys started the auditing process and when you guys brought in Adamson to start this process of looking at the audits.
Adamson produced our 2022 audit.
When was that?
When did we engage them?
We got the final report, I think it was February 25. We had the final report.
Okay.
But when did we, I guess your question
were
is,
contracted.
when did we hire?
Well, yeah, when did you contract with them? When did
2022.
No,
No,
No.
23.
Can you look that up?
I can try and find
We'll-
it.
we'll see if we can find that for you.
Engagement letter, yes, I'll look, see.
We'll
Okay.
have to look at our records on that.
Okay, all right. That's all I needed. I just wanted to know when that process.
And they had to do 22 again.
Okay,
They did 22.
Push us all back.
okay. That's it.
So, yeah, Janine will try to get that.
And that was Lynn with the Rockport pilot.
All right. Any other questions? Any other issues? All right, very good. We are now going to close this. We do have one item at least in our closed session. We discussed with Tim Tuggy. And so I'm going to close this at our open session at 10:27. And we will recess before we go into closed. The commission will recess this open meeting and conduct a closed meeting pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act to conduct a private consultation with its attorney under section 551.071 of the Act, to deliberate regarding real property under section 551.072 of the Act, and to deliberate regarding personnel matters under section 551.074 of the Act. Specific subjects, among others, may include issues related to the executive director position, posting contracts for legal and related support services, and leases of real property. Following the closed meeting, the commission will reconvene into the open meeting. I'm not sure that we will be taking any action. In fact, we don't have anything listed. Do we have anything listed?
That I
Yes,
have.
we do.
The
We
drainage.
do have, yes, possible action on the drainage. Not sure we will be prepared to do that at this point, but if you'd like to come back, leave us your name. You may either wait in the hallway or you may leave your name and number with Janine. Thank you. we live? Okay. Yes, welcome back to the continuation of the June, I forgot the date, of today's meeting of the Aransas County Navigation District Commissioners. We have no further business to take any action, on which to take action, other than we are going to close our meeting, and I would need a, is that correct? We have no, we do have one agenda item listed, but we are opting to not take any action on that item at this moment.
Oh, that.
The last one.
The very last one, it's always there.
Yeah, all you gotta do is say that we're not taking that up, there's no action on it.
That's, I just said that. We're not taking any action on that item, and therefore I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.